Lug and his companions accept a contract to assassinate corrupt nobles who are assisting with a slave auction. A flashback from his previous life shows him training a rookie while also taking out members of a crime syndicate at the same time. The assassin and the rookie were intercepted by a drone as they attempted to flee, forcing them to improvise in order to avoid it. As the sun rose, the assassin contacted the organization, announcing his intention to retire and serve as a mentor to future assassins in Japan. The assassin and the rookie used forged passports to get to a nearby airport and board a flight to Japan. Unfortunately, their plane was attacked by an organization fighter jet, and the assassin realized he had been set up. When the assassin died, he was confronted by a goddess who offered him the option of being reborn as a completely different person or accepting her request and being reborn with his memories intact. The goddess desired that the assassin choose the second option because she required him to kill the hero of another world. The assassin agreed to assassinate the hero simply because he wanted to feel the happiness he couldn't have in his former life since he suppressed his emotions. The goddess granted him exceptional skills and talents, but warned him that he only had 18 years after his birth to kill the hero before the hero brought chaos into the new world. She also told him that there was a slight chance he might save the world without having to murder the hero. He is then reincarnated as a child of the Tuatha family, a great house of assassins. Lug begins his new life as an excellent hunter and cook, and his physical development is assessed by his father, who believes that Lug is ready for a special surgery that will give him the capacity to perceive magic in a person or an environment. Lug successfully gets the Tuatha family's supernatural eyes, and his father pledges to teach him how to execute the surgery when the time comes. Lug also finds Dia, a magic instructor, for him. In an attempt to measure his magical potential, Dia offers Lug a Far Stone, a magical gemstone that can evaluate a person's magical power. However, Lug's strength is so great that the Far Stone explodes. This inspires Lug to consider using Far Stones as grenades. Dia and Lug grow emotionally attached to one another over the next few weeks. Lug demonstrates amazing learning speed, not just in learning how to manufacture metals but also in constructing weapons. He and Dia even learn to cast new spells together, and on their final night together, he offers her a titanium knife as a thank you for being his instructor, while she gives him her own Far Stone. As Dia departs, Lug's father decides it is time for Lug to assassinate someone for the first time while explaining the House of Tuatha's methods. His victim is a lady convicted of several crimes who tries to plead innocence, but Lug kills her painlessly since he knows she is lying. Lug uses his mana vision to identify someone who can be both his personal servant and his assassin's assistant. Lug does, indeed, discover such a person in the form of Tart, a poor girl who came to the Tuatha area in search of a better life. After saving her from a band of wolves and obtaining permission from his father to train her as an assassin, Lug invites Tart to his house. When Tart reaches the age of 12, Lug discovers that he has mastered spear combat but struggles with lesser weapons such as knives. Lug invents a unique retractable spear that Tart may conceal behind her garments to address this dilemma. Lug feels Tart has become a valuable asset in his attempt to murder the hero now that she has a good weapon at her disposal. Lug has collected a vast collection of Far Stones as a result of the spells Dia taught him and reports them to his father, indicating that he has been monitoring Tart all this time and can confidently state that she is not a spy from a rival territory. Lug's father informs him that it is time for him to meet him in a fight and show that he is capable of carrying out assassinations. Despite Lug's youth and past life experience, Cyan proves to be a powerful opponent. Following that, Lug joins Cyan in carrying out killings, and Cyan informs him that in order to facilitate his job, Lug must take a false identity as a member of the Ballartrade family. Cyan throws a party to celebrate Lug's accession to the House of Tuatha. Rana, a branch family member, objects to the decision and challenges Lug to a battle, but he is easily defeated. Nonetheless, Lug bestows upon him a particular sword in order for Rana to complete his nightly training. Lug and Tart set off the next morning on their expedition to the Balor area. While Lug and Tart start their lives in the Balor area, Maha and her companions struggle to make ends meet in the merchant town of Miltu. Unfortunately, they are captured by a gang and transported to an orphanage, which turns out to be a cover for a prostitution ring. Except for Maha, all of the girls are pushed into prostitution by the local lord, which deeply traumatizes them and even drives one of them, Noin, to scar her own face with a sickle in order to avoid working as a prostitute. 2 years pass, and Ma, realizing she is next in line and prepared to do the same thing as Noin, is ultimately discovered by Lug, who goes by the alias Oleg Balor. However, before Lug can buy her, the orphanage director informs him he must wait 3 days. Fortunately, Lug saves Ma, and with Tart's assistance, he is able to reveal the noble's misdeeds and capture him. As the prostitution network is dismantled, Noin discovers that her scars have healed, and Maha finds a new home with Lug. As Oleg Balor, Lug comes up with the idea of operating a cosmetics business in Miltu to enhance revenues for the Balor family while also funding his assassination tasks. He also offers lotions, moisturizers, and sweets to the New World, resulting in a major increase in sales and a significant market edge for his business, Orna. Barely 6 months after its debut, spies hired by competitor enterprises, on the other hand, seek to penetrate Lug's household in order to learn the secrets of his success. Lug catches at least one spy with the help of Tart and Maha, but is unable to obtain any meaningful information from him, even after torturing him. Lug momentarily leaves Miltu to meet Daya in order to further his magical skills as his firm expands. To his amazement, he realizes that he ejaculated while Maha and Tart were sleeping next to him, signaling that Lug is beginning to perceive his companions as more than simply puppets. Lug returns home to resume his assassin training after establishing a profitable company in Miltu. He leaves Maha in charge of Orna, knowing that she intends to extend the firm into other regions, and pledges to return. Lug and Tart are attacked by a group of wolves on their way home, but Tart easily kills them, and Lug notices that monster assaults on human communities have grown more regular, anticipating that the hero will appear soon. Upon his return, Lug is invited to his father's study, where Cyan offers him the opportunity to abandon the life of an assassin and instead live happily as a traitor. Cyan has grown too old to pursue other interests, but Lug is still free to pursue his own. Nonetheless, Lug decides to remain in his current lifestyle, stating that he has fallen in love with Daya and will be unable to marry her if he does not have the advantages of the Alvan Kingdom's nobility. Accepting his son's selection, Cyan assigns Lug his first mission as a fully trained assassin. Lug's first target as a fully trained assassin is Count Asbavenkor, a nobleman who has been trading military secrets for Visine, a narcotic he distributes throughout the realm. Using Maha's information network, Lug decides to do his own investigation into the Count and evaluate whether or not the target genuinely deserves to be assassinated. Lug and Tart visit Pisar, the kingdom's second largest merchant town, and take down a criminal gang peddling Visine, but not before witnessing the drug's effects on a poor girl's mother. Orna's items are subsequently sold to the Count's home under the guise of selling them, which proves well for Orna. Lug silently assassinates Count Benkor with his newest weapon, a sniper rifle, as darkness falls, but not before seeing the mourning wife's response. While Lug has no regrets about killing the Count, he vows never to forget this specific operation since it was the first assassination he carried out as a free man rather than as an unfeeling instrument. Lug and Tart spend a month on a deserted island as part of their assassin training, and when they return to the mainland, Maha tells them about a divine treasure, a tool of immeasurable power, that Lug has been trying to acquire for some time. Tuatha Macnes, a great warrior suspected of being the fabled hero, possesses this celestial treasure, a magical spear known as Gibalg. Lug also discovers that the Vicone region is at war and rushes to Daya's house, offering her a way out if the war comes to her door. Daya refuses to leave her home, citing her commitments to her family and people. Nonetheless, Lug and Daya decide to go on a date. As Lug comes home, he still believes he can assist Daya escape the battle, but Daya has already made efforts to defend herself by fortifying her hamlet. Later, a wounded soldier requests that Daya be assassinated by the Tuatha family. Cyan adds that Daya's father orchestrated the death of his own daughter in an attempt to end the civil war that is presently raging in the Vicone area. Lug recognizes that Daya's murder will eventually fail to halt the conflict and deduces that he can use this mission to save Daya since the Tuatha family has always had the ability to refuse missions based on their interests. Recognizing Lug's feelings for Daya, Tart assists him in reaching the Vicone region in a way that allows him to conserve his magical energy. Lug discovers that the Vicone mansion is under siege, but is able to make his way to Daya with few casualties. Daya's father and Lug devise a scheme to fake Daya's death and securely slip her into the Tuatha region. Unfortunately, the arrival of Tuatha Macnes prevents them from carrying out their plan. Tuatha will not survive a direct confrontation with Gibalg, so he fires a magnetically propelled tungsten projectile into the atmosphere, stalling Tuatha long enough for it to obliterate him. Following that, the Tuatha family adopts Daya as Lug's younger sister, fulfilling the purpose. Lug learns later that the hero, Lord Epona Rhiannon, has arrived in the Alvan Kingdom. And this finishes video part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to press the bell icon button.